Okay, so we left off here. Let's see if we can just continue. Alphino. My thanks for coming, Ny'ardbert. When you are ready, speak with the conjurer yonder. She will show us to the lotus stand. The Alliance leaders await you at the lotus stand. Will you be joining them now? Yes.
Change has come to the Garlean Empire, and we must discuss the implications.
The rumors are true, then? The War of Succession is ended?
It is. A new emperor reigns in Garlemald.
Who?
The birth and all too rapid expansion of the Garlean Empire is commonly attributed to the strategic brilliance of Solus Zosgalvis, yet he did not rule alone. Several members of the royal household also distinguished themselves during his reign. Nevertheless, it was the eldest son who stood to inherit the throne, until his most untimely passing.
I thought us fortunate when I learned that the Emperor had died without naming a successor.
Would that the Garlean Empire had died with him.
'Twas the grandson and his uncle who had the strongest claims, was it not?
Indeed, yet claims count for little without the power to assert them. High Legatus Varus Ye Galvus is a respected military leader, not so his uncle.
So young Varus has torn the crown from his uncle's grasp and taken his place at the head of the Empire.
Given the troubled nature of his succession, the new emperor will require time to seal his grip on power. Yet have no doubt but that he shall, for there are none left with strength enough to oppose him.
Since the success of Operation Archon, the remnants of the 14th Legion and the forces occupying Alamigo have done naught but fortify their positions. But you can be sure they'll be ready to march on us again, if their Emperor gives the word.
When, not if. They say this Varus was so set upon Eorzean annexation that he spoke out against the Meteor Project.
Plainly, the new emperor's intentions are of great concern to us all. I propose that we set aside the Cartno dispute for the present, and discuss what measures the Alliance might take to prepare for a resumption of hostilities with Garlemald. Moreover, I move that we re-examine the question of how our former allies in Ishgard might be persuaded to retake their place at our side. Could Eorzea but stand as one, 'twould deal a grave blow to our enemies' ambitions.
Well, I suppose we should be grateful that they have finally acknowledged the inevitability of Imperial attack. Who knows? They may even do something about it. If only the leaders of Ishgard would follow their example and stop hiding behind their gates, praying for the coming storm to pass them by. But that is a discussion for another time. At present, I am more concerned by the fact that the Alliance's mooted preparations will be made known to the Garleans many moons before their coming. So long as the ivy eludes our grasp, no secret is safe.
Alrighty. So there's a new emperor. The Eorzean Alliance is starting to reform a bit. But also, there's a lot more going on there. I did notice during that cutscene that we've got a little bit of letterboxing going on, so I'm going to see if I could fuss around my settings a bit. So here's that. Alright, cool. It's a slight difference, but might make one. Anyway, I guess let's continue and see where this leads us. See if we can root out the ivy before it becomes a problem for us. It will not have escaped your notice that the nations of Eorzea are no nearer to being of one purpose, despite their protestations to the contrary. Plainly, the threat of a resurgent Garlemald is not enough to stir them. And the reason for this? Deep-rooted mistrust amongst the citizenry. The nation's leaders can come to all the understandings they like, but their unity means little and less to the common folk. Take the Loninsons, for instance. Though Admiral Merlwyb outlawed piracy over a decade ago, foreigners still picture the nation as a haven for grog-swilling wooden-legged cutthroats. In likewise, the Gridanians are marked as hermits who talk to trees, and the Uldans scorned as swindlers who worship coin. Not that such sentiments are entirely without grounds, of course. Take that pillar of Uldan society, Telegiadaleji, for example. But that is beside the point. The fact is that people are wary of outsiders because they have cause to be or not. Whether they have cause to be or not. On that basis, one could argue that the conflict of Carteneau is a necessary evil. Each nation has its own warmongering faction that advocates the acquisition of Omega. In order to placate them, we present them something resembling warfare, and thereby curb their appetite for full-scale conflict. But enough idle musing. Let us speak of a more pressing matter, the Ivy. Since we spoke of the Observatorium, Captain Ny'ardbert has further shortened his list of suspects, and by happy coincidence, the one he deems the most likely candidate has lately come to Gridania. The hunt nears its end, Ny'ardbert. All that remains is to corner our quarry. Seek out Ny'ardbert near the Adder's Nest. He will give you the particulars. Should there be any developments in Kurthus, you may be sure that I will send word without delay. In the meantime, I wish you success in apprehending the Ivy. While we are at the Adder's Nest, I may also pick up the last bit of a quest line that we had started and not completed, which would be the Rest of Odin. Oh, you also have Rama. Okay, well, let's do this one. Ny'ardbert, your timing never fails to amaze. Unless I am mistaken, you have knowledge of the Elder Primal Odin, correct? Yes, in passing. As I thought. Well, as you know, we have long pursued the dark divinity from the pages of arcane scripture to the shroud itself. Finally, we have a plan to put his prowling to an end. Brother Oap Pesi has the command. He has personally requested your aid in this venture and awaits you at Earth's Font. I'm sure he will give you the details once you present yourself. Godspeed, Ny'ardbert. Alright, I'll have to go there in a bit once we've rooted out the ivy. My thanks for coming, Scion. Doubtless the commander has informed you, but we have unmasked the ivy. From this point on, we must proceed with extreme caution. These are fine. Yes, the Daystar robe. I am invested in that robe for my previous character stuff. I'm curious how it'll look on Ny'ardbert. Listen well. The spy we have been seeking all this time is no other than Flame Marshal Aline Royale, Raubon's second in command. Prior to joining the Immortal Flames, she was a mercenary of no small renown. They say her skill with a polearm is to be seen to be believed. Of Ishgardian birth, she's the highest-ranked foreigner in the Immortal Flames, barring the Flame General himself, of course. When he formed the Grand Company, Raubon chose people based on their worth. Whence they hailed was of no interest. The Monetarists saw things differently, however. Having funded the enterprise, they reserved the right to reject candidates nominated for high-ranking positions. And 'twas no secret that they did not favor foreigners, Ishgardians especially, after the way the Holy See forsook the Alliance. Yet the Monetarists did not raise so much as a murmur of protest when Royale was appointed to her post. Passing strange, is it not? Could it be that the Ivy has some hold over the Monetarists? Let's clip it through the code again. I love her haircut, but I could never recommend it because it clearly clips through things. Sorry. But these revelations are secondary to our current mission. Of foremost interest to us is Royale's presence here now. As you may be aware, it is the duty of the Flame Marshal to command the Immortal Flames in the absence of the Flame General. While Raubon attended the Council of Alliance Leaders, she should have remained in the Hall of Flames. The woman has no business being in Gridania, and here she is nonetheless, and on some pretense. She's up to something, mark my words. Even as we speak, I have a dozen men trawling the Flames' records for evidence of Royale's guilt, but if we can catch her red-handed, we shall have all the proof we need. Which brings me to the plan. I have people watching the city's gates, the airship landing, and the docks, every point of egress. She cannot leave without our knowledge. All that remains is to shadow her until she betrays her true purpose. Can I rely upon your eyes, Scion? You have my thanks. Let us go, then, and take care not to alert our quarry. There she is. The forest air is so cleansing. I feel like a new woman every time I visit Gridania. I don't know, Ilbert. She seems pretty chill. Royale is headed in the direction of the Blue Badger Gate. With me, Scion. See her over there. What did she swirl? So, Royale has entered the Carline Canopy. Meeting someone, perchance? Or could it be she means to board an airship? Pray look for her within. If she is not on the upper floor, try the landing area below. One of mine is stationed there, and she may have seen something. Ephemy is her name. I shall remain here in case Royale reappears. Oh, real subtle. Okay. Hey, Ephemy, do you know if they got on the airship? Ny'ardbert, such an unexpected pleasure. What brings you here? A social visit, you say? How pleasant. No, she didn't come this way. I've noted every passenger, and none bore any resemblance. Well, don't let me keep you. Interesting. Where could she have gone? Or she... No, okay. Maybe she retired to an inn room? Nowhere to be seen, you say? And you're sure she did not board an airship? She did not come back out, either. Where in the seven hells could she have gone? The Roost! How could I forget? Greetings, good sir. Might I interest you in some Muntai tonic? A cup a day imbues a man with great vigor, if you take my meaning. Perhaps another time, friend. Wait. That necklace. You are Shinobi of Doma. The woman you seek has left Gridania by way of West Shore Pier. She was attired as a merchant, but these eyes are not so easily deceived. You may wish to take your search to the East Shroud. Rest assured that we shall continue to support you from the shadows. Rank the 12 for the Domans. Were it not for their unique talents, Royale would have disappeared without a trace. Get that robe. Ny'ardbert is distinctly not a healer, so I don't think he'll be wearing this anytime soon. But it's such a cool look. Yeah, it's a little bulky on him, though. Our hunt leads to the East Shroud, Scion. I suggest we follow Royale's example and take the ferry from West Shore Pier. You'll doubtless wish to make certain preparations. See to them while I go on ahead. I shall wait for you at Sweetbloom Pier. What kind of preparation? Oh, okay, bye. Alright, well, I guess I'll just go after him. Appears by the Lancers Guild, right? Or the Archers? That guy's having fun. Yeah, Lancers Guild. Hello, Romaric. Take me to the East Shroud. Sorry about that. Going through some stuff. This way, my friends. Your quarry makes for the Hawthorn Hut. If Royale is truly the one we seek, we can expect that she means to make contact with her Garlean masters there. An explanation is in order. Oh, knocks it over. You are no doubt aware that the Garleans have their own method of communicating over great distances. Well, our ingenious friends at Garland Ironworks have provided us with devices which disrupt these communications, and we've installed them around the city-states. In so doing, we have made it difficult for Imperial agents to correspond with their masters. Royale would thus have no choice but to rendezvous with her Imperial contact directly. Yet, as a well-known face in the Immortal Flame, she cannot move about Thanalan without being recognized. It would only be a matter of time before someone saw through her disguise. It is for this reason I believe that she has chosen the Black Shroud for her clandestine meeting. The Ellison are a common sight here, and our comings and goings are not like to turn any heads. As my scouts tell it, the Garleans have sent agents with a mind to destroy the devices and render such direct contact unnecessary. Fortunately, our shinobi have thus far been unsuccessful in rebuffing their efforts. This is it. You only make for Hawthorne's hut and catch Royale in the act. In flagrante delicto. I know, like, what flagrante is, like, flagrant, but I do have to wonder, how does delicto translate? Is it like dereliction? Future Nick, if you're listening, go define delicto. Or translate it, rather. If Royale was here, she is no more. We have no choice but to continue the pursuit. My people report that our quarry has departed for the Bramble Patch. The Ivy returned to the Gnarls when she came, but perhaps it is all for the better. To convict someone of her standing will require damning evidence against her. What could be better than to catch her in the act when she meets with her Garlean masters? My countrymen and I shall lie in wait in the shadows. Tread warily, my friends. See Ny'ardbert around. Just beyond, Royale is in a conversation with an individual clad in the manner of an adventurer, an imperial intermediary, no doubt. This is it, with me! This is a fun squad. Flame Marshal Aline Royale, you are under arrest for treason and espionage. You are followed, you bloody fool. Damnation. Wow, these demons are no joke. Maybe I should pick up being a ninja. And I'd be a rogue. You are unarmed, my lady, and scarcely garbed for battle. If you wish to fight, you are welcome to try. What is the meaning of this, Captain? Would you arrest me for strolling in the Twelveswood? When last I looked, that was no crime, and neither was conversing with passing strangers. You would feign ignorance, then. Very well. If you do think of something to say, there will be plenty of time to say it later. Now, come quietly, or I shall make you wish you had. I will offer you no struggle. After all, I have naught to hide. Even a warrior of Royale's renown could not have hoped to escape by force. Despite her claims, her surrender does not bespeak innocence, but an awareness that her position is untenable. With the ivy thus uprooted, it is to be hoped that the tendrils she entwined around the immortal flames will gradually wither and die. Mayhap then the people of Ul'dah will have the grand company they deserve. But let us speak of the present. If I may ask, what will you do now, Ny'ardbert? So, the Scion seek a way into Iceheart's sanctum. I dare say you are eager to return to the Rising Stones. Pray, do not let me keep you. Fear not. My countrymen and I shall tend to the aftermath. You need not waste your talents here. And speaking of talents, have you considered training in the art of the shinobi? You have the aptitude for it, I believe, so please give it some thought. Till next time, my friend. She's explicitly, encouraged it. Now I kind of got it, right? I'll keep that in mind. Tataru can juggle? I mean, I knew she was good at, juggling tasks and paperwork, but literally? Alright. Steady, steady. Not bad, eh? With a little more practice, I could earn a fortune at the Ruby Road Exchange. Tataru has grown beyond childish fantasies of becoming a songstress. Now she aspires to be a legendary street performer. She cannot seriously be considering it. Life as a street performer should be one's last resort, not their first. Yes, but Higiri, you're not. Oh, sorry. Yes. Yes, but Higiri, you're not... You're missing the point. The individual doesn't matter. It was a team effort, and I was the one who... Higiri? Thancred's tales of Lady Yugiri almost beggar belief. My heart is fair fit to burst for admiration. A rousing tale of a comrade's valor. Truly, we are fortunate to count Lady Yugiri as a friend. Thancred, you're bad at telling stories, apparently. Why is... Sorry, I just see, the text, sort of half poking out from behind this thing. Like that. And I'm not sure why. It's a battle of wills, a struggle for supremacy. Our fighting styles may differ, but this unyielding spirit is the same in warriors the world over. I must admit, this exercise of yours never fails to amuse me. While its movements appear comical, it does seem to be having the desired effect. Strength, Hori! On your honor as a Scion, I forbid you to surrender! What is it with Square Enix and squats? Oh, I cannot go on much longer. Ida? I could do this all day. All day. I mean, I do think Ida's just stronger than him, but I feel like it's not exactly a great comparison with, a relatively small person in, light clothing versus a gigantic truck of a guy in full plate armor. He's probably gonna tire out soon, sooner, even if they were equally matched. Which, as I said, they're not. Welcome back, Ny'ardbert. I understand that Alfie now has had a task for you. May I ask what it was? Rooting out a potential traitor in the Immortal Flames, but I think we did it. Charges of treason and espionage against Eileen Royale. I can hardly believe it. Yeah, which is why I didn't think I was going to be that specific, but okay. Could there not have been some manner of misunderstanding? No, it avails us not to dwell on it. Sorry. Whatever the truth may be, we must trust to the authorities to uncover it. Let us speak of another matter. I am pleased to report that we have made progress in our efforts to find a way into Iceheart's sanctum. As you may recall, Iceheart used the Aetheryte in the depths of Snowcloak to teleport a short distance to the west, most likely to a sanctuary of some description. It is there that we suspect she means to summon Shiva, using the crystals she stole from the House Fortem caravan. The heretics believe that they are bringing about the second coming of their patron saint, but if, as we suspect, they mean to hold a summoning ritual of the kind employed by the beast tribes, it seems likely that the result will be something more akin to a primal. Suffice it to say, they must be stopped. And stop them we shall. But first we must surmount the obstacle that Iceheart has placed in our path. Ordinarily, it would be a simple matter to tap into the established Ethernet and thereby follow our quarry. However, despite our best efforts, we've been unable to ascertain the position of the Aetheryte to which she teleported. Yeah, aren't we under the assumption that she destroyed it? Our prevailing theory is that she destroyed the second Aetheryte upon arrival. A reckless, desperate measure, but also an effective one. After discussing the matter at length with Urianger, we've concluded that we lack the expertise to develop a solution. Which is why we have called upon the aid of one who does possess such expertise. A colleague of ours who is currently en route to Revenant's Toll from Sharlayan. She should be arriving within the hour, in fact. Since you are here, mayhap we could welcome her together. I am certain she would appreciate the gesture. Let us make our way to the northern gates and await her coming. Okay. Yeah, everyone's where we left them. What manner of woman is she, I wonder? You've spoken before via link pearl, of course, but it is not the same.
Minfilia, am I right?
Oh, you're voiced.
None other. I bid you welcome to Revenant's Toll, and thank you for traveling so far on such short notice.
As if I could ever say no to Urianger.
Moonbreeder is an accomplished Sharlayan scholar, and an authority on Aetheryte technologies. She has played an invaluable role in our search for a means to capture Ascian souls.
Charmed, I'm sure.
It's a pleasure. So she has, like, a tattoo on her thigh. It's in the same style as the neck tattoos that a bunch of the other Charlians have. But I don't think it's the same thing. No, it's not. Okay. Yeah, because, like, if you look, the little, like, flourish at the top sort of looks like the, like, left side of it. But it's not the same design. Now I'm very curious about what that means, then, because it's very prominent. For an outpost in the ether-rich wasteland, this place is a good deal livelier than I expected. Just goes to show you that you never know until you know. Let us return to the Rising Stones at once, then. We have much to discuss. Also, since I harp on it, credit where credit is due, Minfili's line reads there were significantly more natural than usual. Maybe she's improving? I don't really remember this period of knowledge, like, before they switch over. That'd be a shame if that's the case, then, because she seems like she's improving right before they switch the cast. Is that Tupsamansi on the wall back there? I'm amazed you managed to find all the pieces after, well, you know.
Moon! Gods, it's been ages!
Oh, they know each other.
Oh, longer, sister.
A joyous reunion indeed.
Well, of course it is. Moon and I are like twin sisters.
Save in appearance and aptitude.
Everyone, if I could have your attention. We have with us an esteemed guest who has come from Scion to assist us. I bid Moonbreeder join us here that she might share with us her extensive knowledge of Aetherites. Also, as many of you are already aware, she has been overseeing our research into white auracite, a sample of which she has been good enough to bring with her.
Well, I had to come, didn't I? You'd have to be bloody daft to turn your nose up at a chance like this. Where better to conduct my final tests than a land so steeped in ether you can taste it?
'Tis plain the passage of the years hath done little to dampen thy youthful spirits. And nothing at all to reform thy youthful manner.
Aww.
Oriange, where in the hells have you been hiding?
Unhand me.
I come all this way, and that's what you have to say to me. I much preferred when you were pleading with me to drop everything and hurry to your side. What was it you said? None save thee can satisfy this need.
Go on. Thine artless attempts to misrepresent mine all too innocent motives do thee little credit. Mine intent, as well thou knowest, was but to impress upon thee the gravity of the circumstance. Lest thou doubt, a deiform entity shall shortly be summoned, save if thou and no other grantest my compeers thine aid.
You still haven't found it then, your missing Aetherite?
We have not. No. We know that Iceheart teleported to an aetherite not far from the first. Yet even after careful analysis, we could not locate the second beacon. We now suspect that the heretics destroyed the second aetherite to impede our pursuit. Our allies continue to scour Snowcloak for Iceheart's sanctuary, but we have no guarantee that they will find it. Yet it must be found, for even now Iceheart prepares to call upon Saint Shiva.
I'm sorry, but if the aetherite's been destroyed, then that's that. Although, you're absolutely sure she used the first aetherite, are you? She didn't just use teleportation magics?
One of our own bore witness to her escape. I can say with absolute certainty that Iceheart used the aetherite.
In that case, there might be a way, so long as the ethereal current is still flowing.
Truly? How?
We use the current to recreate the beacon. As you know, aetherites are a bit like lighthouses. We use them to reconstitute our physical forms when crossing the ethereal sea. Without them, we'd lose all sense of direction and our essence would dissipate. However, we don't rely solely on these beacons. There are currents of ether which flow between them, currents which help guide us to our destination. Now, these currents will gradually dwindle away to nothing if an aetherite is destroyed. But if even a sluggish flow remains, we could theoretically use it to direct a surge of concentrated ether towards the void left by the beacon, and thereby fill it up again.
Like opening the floodgates to fill a dry riverbed. Though, correct me if I'm wrong, but would we not need a veritable reservoir of ether?
In concert, we might manage to channel a sufficient volume, yet that is not my chief concern. To direct the flow of so great a volume of ether with the requisite precision would be a nigh impossible task in itself.
I barely succeeded in facilitating travel to an unattuned beacon. That which you describe sounds considerably more difficult.
And dangerous. Every person who has attempted to teleport in this fashion has died in the process. They, however, did not have white auracite at their disposal. I can use it to channel all the ether you can give me into the aetherite. However, white auracite cannot retain ether for an extended period of time, so we would need to infuse it immediately beforehand. Just so you know, I'd confidently give this plan better than even odds of success. And if the worst comes to worst, your people won't suffer.
Though it risked the lives of our best and brightest, we have not the time to seek other options. If the ethereal current still flows, we shall carry out Moonbreeder's plan.
That's the spirit. Let's roll the dice.
I immediately like her. Like, I know what my opinions are about all of the Scions, like, currently. But it's fun going back to see, like, what the first opinions are. So, like, with Alfino, like, nowadays he's my boy. I wish to meet with you at Snowcloak before proceeding. I expect you will find him waiting for you there when you arrive. I want you to know that I appreciate everything you've done on our behalf, Ny'ardbert, and that I have faith you will return to us, as you always have. I mean, I'm sure it's fine. I can survive the thing that literally no one has survived. And then go immediately into a fight against a whole bunch of cultists. On that note, it is kind of weird that we continue referring to them as heretics as compared to, like, cultists or some sort of faction name. Because, like, to my knowledge, we're not that religion. Like, we're not in the Church of Halone. So, like, they're not heretics for us. And if they had prefaced it with, like, Ishgardian heretics or Dravanian heretics, it's like, okay, that makes sense. I know it's just, like, sort of a quirk of language, and that they don't... There's probably not any implications there, but it's something interesting I noticed. Oh my god, have you Temple Knights been out here this whole time? Yep, okay. Trust in the power of White Orosite, Ny'ardbert, and in me, of course. Alfie now. Good to see you, Ny'ardbert. I was starting to wonder if you were having second thoughts. I mean, I did, and third, but I'm still here. Captain Ilberd sends his regards, by the way. He attends to the interrogation of Eileen Royale in Ul'dah even as we speak. But I shall not distract you from the matter at hand. We can discuss the Ivy upon your return. I trust that... By which I mean to say... the others are waiting for us at the Aetheryte. After you, Scion. Poor guy can't phrase wanting to wish us well. Alfie, now you want to contribute? There, it's ready. I guess that makes sense, making it like a consistent, stable stream. It worked! I think. Try attuning to Aetheryte now. Feel for the current and try to locate the beacon. We've done all we can, Ny'ardbert. For now, let us withdraw. Are we not worried this is temporary? When your final preparations are complete, you must seek out the beacon we have created. If, by the grace of the 12, you arrive safely, you must stop Iceheart before she summons Shiva. But if I do that, I don't get to fight Shiva. I have a mind to join you, but Orion J made me promise I wouldn't. Apparently the thought of me becoming Shiva's thrall was too much to bear. As if I'd give her the chance. We cannot ignore the possibility that our actions have alerted Iceheart to our plans. Should that be the case, she may attempt to hasten the completion of the summoning ritual, and if she succeeds, you will have little choice but to face Shiva in battle. Knowing little of this saint, I cannot say if your own strength will suffice, and so I would encourage you to call upon your allies. Some may have reservations about wagering their lives on the success of Mumbrida's experiment, but others will surely agree that desperate times call for desperate measures. Ah, before you assemble your party, pray speak with that knight. I believe he has a message to you a message for you from Sir Aymeric. Yes? Sir, Sir Aymeric regrets that he could not be here in person and asks that I read to you this letter. Ishgard faces an unprecedented threat, yet in our hour of need it is not her knights who stand poised to defend her. Ny'ardbert, the warrior of light, savior of Eorzea, your deeds this day shall not be forgotten. Where others would flee, you choose to remain. Where others would falter, you rise to the challenge. Where others would use their gifts for selfish ends, you wield yours in service to a greater cause. May Halone bless you with good fortune and see you safely home. All right. Well, thank you, Aymeric. And without further delay... Oh, do pass along my thanks to him. However this goes. But yeah, without further delay, let's fight Shiva.
You should never have come here, warrior of light. I labor only to forge a lasting peace. A peace you would deny us out of ignorance and blind faith. No matter. If it is our fate to be at odds, then it is mine to strike you down. We whom gods and men have forsaken shall be the instruments of our own deliverance. Partake of my flesh. Fill this vessel with your light. Walk amongst your brothers and sisters once more. Oh, Saint Shiva, still the hatred within our hearts and bless us with eternal grace.
You can do that and live through it.
Fool. Blind, bloody fool. You, of all people, should understand the suffering war begets. That no sacrifice is too great if it brings an end to the violence. Mine is the righteous cause. You fight in a war you do not understand. A pawn of liars and schemers. And they are no less ignorant than you, following the creed of their fathers without question, never thinking to ask why. Trapped in a delusion of their own creation, and blind to the truth. Warrior of light, redemption is not beyond us. We who walk before may lead those who walk after. Seek the keeper of the lake. See with eyes unclouded. Do not squander Mother's gift.
Motherfucker.
And so the vessel withdraws, a predictable outcome. Nevertheless, La Habrea will be pleased. How unfortunate.
Man, it sucks to let that guy win at anything. Alright. Wow, that's a lot to unpack. Was the implication there that she has the Echo too? Or, like, has spoken with Hydaelyn? And if so, like, can we turn into a primal and turn back and just be fine? Because that'd be kind of sick. By the 12th, you're alive! I mean, of course you're alive! Why wouldn't you be? Iceheart did what? And you're certain about that, are you? Dravanians are skilled with glamours, after all. Look, if you saw what you saw, I believe you. It's just I've never heard of a primal being summoned like that before. Are you sure you're not injured? Head trauma has been known to cause hallucinations, you see. No? Fair enough. I was only asking. Yeah, she fucking turned into a right there in front of me. And then turned back. That's the part that gets me. If you ask me, there's not to be gained from mulling over the implications of your story in the freezing cold. Let's save it for the Rising Stones, eh? I'll get everyone to meet us there. Ah, but before that, you'd best pay a visit to White Brim Front and speak with Alfino. He's probably worried sick about you. That, or he's busy playing at politics with the Ishgardians. Either way, I'm sure he'll be delighted to see you hale and healthy. Speaking of which, you don't have a headache or anything, do you? No? Blurred vision? No reason. See you again soon. Really going with that, concussion angle, are we? Look, Moonbreeder, if a concussion was enough to make me hallucinate, then none of this is real. You know how many tank busters Ny'ardbert has taken already? Emmerich. That you stand here now is proof of your mission's success. Praise be to Halan. 'Tis customary to report to one's commanding officer after completing a mission. Yes, thank you. I still remember the first time you entered these chambers. Suffice to say, I never imagined that I would one day be so glad of your return. Welcome, my friend. Welcome. There he is, and none the worse for wear. Was there ever any doubt that the Warrior of Light would succeed? I think I speak for all of us when I say that I should like nothing more than to hear the stirring tale of your victory, if you'd be so kind. I'm down, but this one was a little more mixed than usual. She did get away. And we were too late to prevent the summoning. But not too late to prevent further loss of life. An outcome worthy of celebration. And one for which we have Ny'ardbert to thank. Yes, you are right, of course, Sir Emmerich. We should be content with what we have accomplished. I, for one, could not have wished for a better outcome. Shiva is no longer a threat, and the heretics have been routed. Aye, there is the matter of Iceheart's escape, but she cannot run forever. Whether it takes days, weeks, moons, or even years, my knights will find her. In the meantime, Lord Dremont, is the caravan ready? The supplies that your men recovered have been prepared for transport, in accordance with your wishes. Rest assured that my knights will see them safely to the Revenant's Toll, for realsies this time. Of that I have no doubt. I take it these are the selfsame supplies the heretics stole from the House Fortem caravan? Less the crystals, which comprised the bulk of the shipment, yes. Scarcely a fraction of that which was promised, but a meaningful contribution to your cause all the same. On an unrelated note, Ny'ardbert, might I trouble you to accompany me to Camp Dragonhead at your earliest convenience? 'Tis not for my benefit. A certain lord was most distressed when he learned of your intent to risk life and limb to stop Iceheart. It took half a dozen knights to restrain him, I am told. Oh, that's fun. Men give vent to their anxieties in myriad ways. Pray, do not think less of him. I don't! It's sweet, actually, that he wanted to, like, come help. I don't think he could. But, I mean, I guess I don't really have a great sense of how strong he is at this point in the story. And, like, he's certainly not temper-proof, but also I didn't see... Shiva didn't seem to try to temper me. And Iceheart seemed to walk it off. Horshfont, I return hale and hearty. Off now. If our business here is concluded, we should attend to Sir Emmerich in the intercessory. I mean, it's not. I just got here. Unless you're talking to Horshfont there. What were you thinking, Ny'ardbert? Wagering your very being on a dubious theory which might allow you to enter Iceheart's lair, knowing full well that she could have sufficient forewarning to complete her ritual to summon Shiva anyway? And then, engaging the abomination in mortal combat? By the fury, Ny'ardbert, 'tis the stuff of ballads! A battle for the ages! Would that I had been there to fight by your side. Yet here I was forced to wait, condemned to wonder at the fate of a dear friend for a veritable eternity. I could not wish such torture on my most hated enemy. But you are here now, and that is what truly matters. Let us move on. Sir Emic wished to have words with you, and Master Alfino in private. He awaits us in the intercessory. I'm sorry, Harshfont. I'll warn you next time. Pray go on ahead without me, Ny'ardbert. Another matter requires my attention, but I shall join you anon. Here's the same. Greetings, sir. I shall show you in at once.
On behalf of the Holy See of Ishgard, allow me to express my deepest thanks. Never before have we been required to contend with a primal. Indeed, there were fears in some quarters that our knights might not be equal to the task. From what we have now learned of these beings, I can say with certainty that we would have lost a great many men had the Scions not intervened.
Then the argument for preemptive action should be self-evident. Perchance now you will reconsider my proposal that Ishgard move against Nautalon.
Ere we first met, a similar proposal was tabled, but the Holy See decreed that we were to observe, and that military action should be taken only in self-defense. All things considered, it was not an unreasonable decision. Since the calamity, 2 vigils have fallen to the Horde, while Garuda has never shown any inclination to storm the gates of judgment. Which is why this unprecedented crisis and its resolution may prompt a change in policy. You who have faced these primals know well the threat they pose. Ishgard did not. Not until now. And there is naught like a brush with death to change a man's outlook.
At the very least, this should silence any lingering objections to our arrangement with Revenant's Toll. The Holy See may even feel moved to grant us its formal endorsement.
So far as it is possible, the Scions shall be compensated for their service.
We should be grateful for any aid you can provide.
As a gesture of good faith, I shall withdraw my previous request. Your people are doubtless needed elsewhere.
That will not be necessary. We, too, have a vested interest in watching Dravania's movements.
I see. Once more, I must thank you.
Sir Emeric, if I may, do you truly believe that Midgard-Zoma could return?
The heavens are a window unto truth, but those who interpret their movements are not infallible. I requested your involvement as a precautionary measure.
But of course, you sought an excuse to compensate us from the first, mindful of what would happen if Revenant's Toll were taken by your enemies. Ishgard is not wont to aid its neighbors, but that does not preclude it from manipulating them to serve its own interests.
Choose your next words carefully.
Do you know what sort of man becomes Lord Commander of the Temple Knights? One who comes from good stock. I did not. Yet here I am. Now, why do you suppose that is? Because I swiftly learned to tell the difference between words, deeds, and beliefs. You are correct, Master Leveilleur. Ishgard desires to see Revenant's toll flourish, as it would present a troublesome obstacle to our enemies from the south.
We are so glad to be of use to you.
As we are to you. Ours is a mutually beneficial arrangement, lest we forget, one born of necessity. The dragons grow more restless by the day, and the heretics harry us nigh without cease. We have contended with such troubles for centuries, but there are limits to even our endurance. Yet as a pauper is loath to part with his meager possessions, the leaders of Ishgard are not wont to render up their trust to outsiders. But with perseverance on our part, they may yet be made to see the light. Nevertheless, one must take care when walking the road less traveled.
Wise words, Sir Emmerich. I shall make a point to remember them. I must apologize for my earlier outburst. I hope it will not sour our good relations.
Not at all. You but spoke from the heart. I trust you understand that at times my duties may prevent me from meeting with you. On such occasions, my second in command will speak for me.
Lucia, at your service. Pray excuse our reticence. We are but wary of speaking too freely, lest our sentiments be made known to our enemies. Know that the Lord Commander and I are of one mind. For the sake of Ishgard, and of Eorzea at large, I pray our peoples can put aside their differences. Those who dwell in the past risk losing sight of their future.
Should aught befall one of our shipments, pray inform Lucia immediately. You may also relay to her any words you might have for me alone. Not being of Ishgardian birth, she owes no allegiance to any noble house, making her as near to incorruptible as one can find in my homeland. Suffice it to say, I trust her completely, and so may you. Which reminds me, Lord Orchefort, if you would be so kind.
Certainly.
In times such as these, trust is ever in short supply. Mayhap this will go some way to rectify the problem. The results of our investigation into the heretics' recent attacks, as well as our interrogation of the merchant you detained.
Sir Emmerich, I cannot thank you enough.
Think nothing of it. Ishgard may be many things, but it is no friend to Garlemald.
Did I not tell you to have faith, my friend?
Alfino, what was that? Like, I mean, I get most of what you were getting at there, but, like, aren't you meant to be, like, a politician at this point? Like, a commander of people? You gotta keep your temper in check. Can't just take digs at people just because. It's usually my job. It would seem we have much to discuss with our friends of the Rising Stones. If what you say is true, Iceheart's method of summoning Shiva defies all precedent. It necessitates a complete reappraisal of the primal threat, and of our approach to combating it. Moreover, there are grave ramifications if word of this incident reaches Imperial ears. The Garlean Empire believes that the primals are an insufferable menace, that their mere existence is a threat to this very star. As such, they deem any action taken against the beast tribes to be justified by default. Imagine, then, if it became known that it was not only the beast tribes of Eorzea that could summon primals, but her civilized peoples as well. Any lingering objections to the Eorzean campaign would vanish overnight. where before we had to contend with a single Imperial Legion, we could well find ourselves facing the combined might of all Garlemald. But I speak unadvisedly. Come, Ny'ardbert, it is better that we continue this conversation in Mordona. If there's one thing that can be said for Sir Emmerich, it is that he understands how dangerous knowledge can be in the wrong hands. We are but fortunate that this incident took place in so remote a location. The truth should not be too difficult to suppress. For now, at least. Things seem to have calmed down. There's little fortune and far less fame in being a receptionist, but one must be realistic. Also, it would seem I was grossly misinformed regarding the average earnings of a street performer. Yeah, it's one of those, like, outliers thing, right? I do not fault Sir Emmerich for being less than forthcoming with his beliefs. Not even the highborn are beyond the reach of the Inquisition. True, young leaders can be more amenable to new ideas. Then again, their lack of experience and influence can hinder their ability to enact reforms. Forgive me, Ny'ardbert. I thought I'd prepared enough meals for everyone, but the others were most hungry. Oh, did I miss a meal? That's okay, I got plenty of stuff. I've got, looks in bag, 90 more plates of grilled trout. Our stocks of wine have nearly run dry. That Charlatan scholar is drinking us out of house and home. Someone Brita has a bit of a stomach for it. Good to know. Calm yourself, Coltonette. It's just a little ship after practice. Clears out the cobwebs, no end. A sip before practice, a sip after practice, and all too often a sip during practice. I do believe Moonbrita is having quite the bad influence on you. I have a hunch that you also can't match her tolerance. Is Thancred unconscious? Hey, I just gotta say, you're a pretty... you're alright. Thanks, Thancred. What you two do is your own business, but don't say I didn't warn you. Trying to tumble the table now, are we? Don't give up yet, boy. Ida, line him up.
Words cannot well express how glad I am to see you return to us hale and whole. Needless to say, I am most eager to hear your account of that which occurred in Kurthis, assuming you're ready to speak of it. Excellent. I shall summon the others at once. Iceheart used her own body as a vessel for a primal soul?
Master Louisoir's writings make no mention of such a possibility. Can we be certain this entity was a primal?
As certain as we can be that good King Mogglmog the 12th was a primal, I should think. Both were ostensibly summoned.
Let's not quibble over definitions. Of more concern is the implication that Iceheart retained her will, even after she was possessed. We are talking about a mortal, wielding the power of a primal.
It can't possibly be that easy, can it? There must be some sort of sacrifice required. Or maybe she's just special?
What qualities this woman possesseth, I know not, but full sure am I that she was groomed for this role. Few are privy to the secrets of summoning, and but a single party standeth to profit from their dissemination.
Well, I wouldn't presume to comment on how the lass came to know about summoning, but I will say that what she summoned was a primal. The readings were the same, or near as damn it. Strange as it all sounds, it's really no different from what you've faced before.
Then mayhap it is time that we re-examined our previous encounters.
Pack your things, Ida. We're going back to Gridania.
Yes, sir.
About Iceheart's final words to you. Hear, feel, think. Hydaelyn speaks to her as well. If Iceheart is blessed with the power of the Echo, she will doubtless have used it to further her goals. Or could it be that it was a revelation granted her by the Echo which first set her on this path? She did say that the Ishgardians were blind to the truth. Do you think she has knowledge of the origins of the Ishgardian-Dravanian War? It would do much to explain her unwavering conviction.
Did not the Lady Iceheart implore thee to seek the Keeper of the Lake? And did she not imply that in so doing thou wouldst come to see with eyes unclouded?
Midgard-Zoma was a king amongst kings who reigned for centuries on end. But he is dead and his wisdom lost to the ages. Unless the Ishgardians' fears are well-founded. It would seem we have yet another reason to stand watch over the Keeper of the Lake. For a mercy, we are well positioned to do so. Iceheart, Shiva, Ascians, and Midgard-Zoma. I shudder to think how they're all connected.
The Reason Royale. Okay, so I guess we're going after... I mean to scour the annals for knowledge of Midgard-Zoma. Given his great age, I dare say he appears in more than a few... Do you hear that? The commotion outside. Would you see if aught is amiss? Okay, before we go do that, I want to just do a quick observation. During that cutscene, we got some closer looks at the Scion's outfits. And while I didn't see one on Minfilia... Yeah, it doesn't appear to be on hers. They all seem to have that, like, eye symbol somewhere. So, I guess, like, it's part of the uniform, probably the Circle of Knowing. Just kind of funny that Monbrita saw that and was like, that would make a great tattoo. Did I already speak with you? I did, okay. Ny'ardbert, 'tis well that you are on hand. We have a problem. Rowiel has escaped. Of course. It happened shortly after the immortal flames took her into custody. She'd been placed in a dungeon cell ahead of her coming trial, but apparently the accommodation was not to her liking. The turnkey was found slain along with 2 guards. 'Tis plain she received inside help. Citizens report seeing Rowiel quitting the city via the Gate of Nald, with a bloodied spear in her hand. She makes for Castrum Meridanium, I am certain of it. With her fate in Eorzea as good as sealed, what recourse has she but to flee to her imperial masters? Even as we speak, Captain Ny'ardbert and the First are hot upon Rowiel's heels. Rowiel's heels. Sorry. Pray make haste to Camp Bluefog and join the hunt. Alright. Let's go straight there. Bluefog. My thanks for coming, Scion. I've spoken to the soldiers here. They say that Royal walked through the camp not a bell ago. Aye, she walked right through. You did not mishear. We have Rabon's decision to keep the matter secret to thank for that. Bad for morale, he said. As a result, not a single flame in the garrison made any attempt to detain her, so here we are. Royal must not be allowed to reach Castor Meridanium. Or Meridianum. Whatever they called it. Meridianum? Meridanium? Whatever. Middle Castrum. Oh, shit. Was that really necessary? I better be compensated for the additional exertion you caused me. Did one of our own turn on you? This wretch was with Royal. He threw himself at us that his mistress might escape. She didn't blink when we cut him down, not even when he started screaming. No loyalty even to her own, that goddamned harpy. With me, Scion, we almost have her. Ah, no wonder she didn't look natural. I want Royal alive! Kill the rest! For Eorzea! Alright. You will not take me so easily this time. I missed? What the fuck? There we are. Alright, everyone's attention now. Oh, that's lame. Hey, folks. Ooh. I'd forgotten Yuhasa had that title, Goldeneye. Sure, a lot of guys here. Who'd have thought you were so high value? Forgive us our lateness. We're in your debt. Circle fetter those who wander within. Where is the circle, though? There it is. Okay. Through everything here. Oh, that one. Sorry. Oh, we just killed everything. Guess that's fair. Bind her. And do it tight. Yes, sir. Good work, man. She and her Imperial cronies pushed us close, but we were better. Behold, a respected officer of the Immortal Flames. People looked up to you as one of the Order's founding members, one of its pillars. It saddens me to see you fallen so low. What would you know of low? You, a spoiled little lordling who has never known any want. People such as you take wealth and birth for granted. You think it your God's given right to rule over others. You know naught of our plight, the injustice that we low-bornish guardians must endure. To the noble lords and ladies, we are not people, but resources to be consumed. I did what I had to survive. Stealing, killing, even whoring myself. It is no fault of mine if fools imagined me a paragon when I joined the Flames. To hear you tell it, one would think you're the only person to ever have suffered. In case you've forgotten, Raban himself was born into poverty, as was I. We lived hand to mouth with little more than the shirts on our back. Hunger was our constant companion. Yet never did we bemoan our lot in life, nor did we begrudge others their fortunes. We accept the hand that we had been dealt and played it to the best of our ability. Life was a battle, aye. But no matter what fate threw at us, we took it on the chin and came back for more. Everything we have, we fought for. How are we any different, then? 'Tis true that we were both mercenaries of lowly birth. And 'tis true that we both had our fair share of struggles. But whereas I sold my sword, you, Marshal, you sold your comrades. If life has taught me one thing, it is that you never betray your own. I would sooner cut off my own arm than raise a hand against a friend. But enough talk. You will return to Ul'dah to face justice, and the people whose trust you have dragged through the gutter. I joined the Crystal Braves that I might strike a blow against the Empire. Those who cast their lot with Garlemald should expect no better treatment. Not so much as a hint of remorse. And 'tis well that the sordid business is finally at an end. A friend's betrayal cuts deeper than steel. We must hope that we have chosen our own allies more wisely than Raban chose his.
I have heard. Truly bothersome business. No, I do not foresee a problem on that front. The main concern is Raban. There is no telling what the brute might do. Have the Blades watch him in the flames day and night. You may leave the Sultana to me. I shall personally attend her grace. Sever one of the East Aldenard trade routes. That ought to keep Lolorito occupied for a while. Nanamo Ulnamo. For my sake, pray be a good little Sultana to the last.
Well, that's some ominous juxtapositioning. Oh, sorry. Like Roel, I once made my way as a mercenary. And like her, I did more than a few things I'm not proud of. But never once did I betray my own. There are depths to which a man should not sink. Captain Ny'ardbert and I have a few questions for the Flame Marshal regarding the circumstances of our miraculous escape. When we've completed our interrogation, we shall take our findings directly to General Raban, and that shall be the end of it. Your work here is done, my friend. My thanks. But I have one last task for you. Return to the Rising Stones and apprise Minfilia of all that has happened. I am aware that the antecedent held Roiel in high regard. For better or worse, she will want to know how this tale ends. Oh, poor Minfilia. Oh, why am I... Wait. Are they adjacent? Oh, that's Ultima. That's why. Okay.
Welcome back, my friend. I have already received word from Alphino. To think that Flame Marshal Huayu was the Garlean agent. I know not what to say. Together with Robon, Eline lent us much-needed aid at the time of our Order's founding. She was particularly passionate about the need to tackle the primal threat. When we discussed the subject, her eyes fairly shone with determination. Whatever else she may have been, I choose to believe that it was her true self with whom I spoke then. But now is not the time to dwell on such matters. I have an important announcement to make regarding our effort to defeat the Ascians. We shall begin as soon as everyone is assembled. My thanks for coming, friends. Moonbreeder, the floor is yours.
By now, I'm sure you're all familiar with White Auracite, the miraculous material that'll allow us to capture Ascian souls. Back at Snowcloak, we verified its ability to absorb vast amounts of ether. Alas, it leaves something to be desired in the area of stability. The stone can only store ether for a short while before expelling its contents.
In addition to Auracite's inherent limitations, we must needs be wary of our enemy's strength. Our foe draweth upon an infinite wellspring of power. Even should we succeed in entrapping him, the stone will not long contain his wrath.
Meaning that, if we want to kill the swine, we'll have to be quick about it.
'Tis our belief that an Ascian soul may be permanently undone, if smitten by a sufficiently concentrated burst of pure ether.
The only trouble is, we can't say for sure how concentrated the burst needs to be. Without knowing how much ether an Ascian soul is composed of, we're basically guessing.
Our sole clue lieth in thy struggle with La Habrea.
During that encounter, Hydaelyn bid you forge what she called a Blade of Light, a weapon which took the form of a luminous stream of energy. Based on your description, we believe the blade with which you vanquished your foe was composed of ether. Admittedly, your victory proved ephemeral, as La Habrea was able to use a crystal of darkness to flee into the space that lies between our world and the void. The fact remains, however, that Hydaelyn placed the means to destroy the Ascians in your hands. Be that as it may, it would be unwise to assume that you will do the same when we next encounter such a foe.
Quite so, my lady. We must needs find the means to forge our own blade of ether, one to equal that which Hydaelyn did benevolently bestow upon her champion.
That is all well and good, but it seems to me that producing such a blade will require a prodigious quantity of ether. Whence will it come, pray tell?
Oh, What if we had 2 pieces of white orosite? One to trap the Ascian, and the other to store the ether for the blade.
Oh, nice try. But it's as I said, the stone won't hold ether for any length of time. We'd still need to collect the stuff there and then, sorry to say.
And therein lies the rub. Finding a way to create the blade whenever and wherever we choose.
Twould seem more research is in order.
I'm going to linger a while, perform a few more tests on the orosite. And I could do with some help. Urianger, why don't you lend me a hand?
Mine apologies, but I am required at the Waking Sands. Lady Minfilia hath given me sole charge of the premises. 'Twould be unseemly to leave them unattended.
Sole charge, you say? So you're basically alone there, then? Well, that settles it. I'll just have to come to you.
While you were afield, word arrived from the Scion motherland. You will recall that a survey party was dispatched to investigate the incident at the Isle of Val. What they discovered was troubling, to say the least. According to the report, the Isle has been erased from existence. 'Twas as if a hole had been torn in the very fabric of reality.
Aye, yet the mystery endeth not with the Isle's disappearance. It hath come to light that a number of scholars in various other locales were reported missing at a similar juncture.
What's more, they all had something in common with the head of the students of Baldessian. Every last one of them was researching a phenomenon called dimensional compression, or the rejoining as the ancient texts call it. I'll be damned if that's a coincidence.
All indications suggest Ascian involvement. But I sense that a force greater still is at work. The entity the Dark Beings call the One True God. We must pray that my dear friend Kryl regains consciousness soon. If she bore witness to the Isle of Val's final moments, she may be able to shed some light on this mystery.
Wow, they set the seeds for some stuff super early.
Following the calamity, the forces of the 14th Imperial Legion entrenched themselves in strategic locations across Eorzea. So swiftly did they accomplish this, it was suspected that they had received help. To think that it came from Huayu, my right hand.
There is more. We have reason to believe that Huayu didn't deal exclusively with the 14th. She also answered to a higher authority in Garlemald. But this higher authority could not have been the Emperor. By consenting to the Media Project, Solus Zos Galvus showed himself to be more concerned about preventing the spread of primal influence than claiming Eorzea for the Empire. He would happily have seen the lot reduced to ash. We believe a number of high-ranking figures within the royal household were against the decision, but that they knew better than to oppose the Emperor openly. Of course, this didn't prevent them from making clandestine provisions, in which Huayu played a part.
Alas, these provisions did not prevent Dalamud from falling, and the ensuing chaos changed the face of the realm forever. Yet Eorzea survived. To all intents and purposes, the Meteor Project had failed, and the Empire was left to rue its lack of a decisive means to eliminate the primals. Until, that is, it stumbled upon the Ultima weapon.
Even before the accursed thing was dug up, it seemed to me the 14th had the might to overwhelm our weakened armies. Yet they chose to hide behind their walls. Why?
The Black Wolf was wary of making the denizens of Eorzea desperate, lest more primals emerge to bleed the land. The discovery of the Ultima weapon, however, emboldened him to resume his war of conquest in earnest.
But there was one in Garlemald who believed that Van Belsar's actions were premature. One who stood higher in the Imperial Army's chain of command. He ordered the Legatus to halt his advance, only to find that the Black Wolf had slipped its leash, and that the 14th now acted alone. In a bid to bring Van Belsar to heel, he used the agent he had planted in Ul'dah prior to the Calamity to undermine the Legion's efforts.
A man who outranks Van Belsar, yet opposed the late Emperor's decision to annihilate Eorzea. This could only be the former High Legatus of the Garlean army, now known as Emperor Varus Zosgalvus. So he was Huayu's true master.
But one of several in actual fact. We've learned that even as Huayu served the Empire's interests, she sold Imperial secrets to a certain faction in Eorzea. In so doing, she helped to maintain the status quo, thus prolonging the conflict. Considering who stands to profit from war, it isn't hard to imagine who her other masters were.
Seven hells! You mean to say that she was a double agent?
Huh, triple, if you consider her services to Van Belsar and the new Emperor as separate.
As neatly as these pieces seem to fit, one aspect of the puzzle remains unclear to me. By whose will was the Marshal feeding intelligence to the heretics? And try as I might, I fail to see how aiding their cause would profit either her Imperial or Monetarist masters. Could it be that another hand is at work here? If so, Huayu must be made to reveal whose it is.
Not only have I lost a trusted friend, now I must interrogate her as a stranger.
Not a pleasant task, I grant you, but a necessary one. Unless we weed out the ivy, root, stalk, and stem, it will simply grow back.
I know that full well. Those closest to Huayu have already been detained, and I will question them alongside her.
General, pray keep in mind that there may be unwitting abettors among them.
All will be treated fairly. On that you have my word. Those who are innocent have no cause to fear.
You have ever been a friend of truth, General. I hope the unpleasant task of weeding out falsehood will not detain you too long. Though it be for the sake of Eorzea, doubting one's comrades is poison to the soul. And with that, I take my leave.
All these years, I've been made to dance to their tune. How could you, Huayu? How could you side with them? Those cankers who take from this land and give naught in return, who use their power to disempower and grow fat while the people starve. I know you can hear me, monetarist scum! Your crimes will not go unpunished! Damn, purge this land of your sickness! Before the eyes of the 12, I swear it!
I shall have no further need of you this day. Your Grace. I fear that not even mine own chambers shall remain private for long.
Has the situation grown so grim?
Ever since he proposed the Cartiner Reclamation Bill, Teleji Adeleji has risen to greater prominence upon the backs of impoverished refugees. The monetarists were ever united in their pursuit of profit, but the man's actions have torn a rift in their ranks. They snap at each other as rabid dogs. Yet now is not the time to be bickering among ourselves.
If this bickering is a threat to law and order, might you not have grounds to dissolve the Syndicate?
Would that the solution were so simple, Admiral. Alas, my moving to dissolve the Syndicate is certain to spark outrage among the influential merchant class, whom the Cabal represents. This would serve to exacerbate the current unrest, and peace would slip still further away. Be they rich or poor, natives or refugees, all who reside in Ul'dah have a right to pursue happiness. It is the duty of a ruler to protect this right. If I am to perform my duty, I must needs tread warily. It would not do to make enemies heedlessly. Were Lord Lolorito here, he would doubtless say that I have my head in the clouds.
A ruler is required to take a wide view. Try as we might to cater to all needs, some will inevitably be overlooked. As such, there shall ever be citizens who feel aggrieved. It cannot be helped. But as you have informed us, the monetarists take no view but their own. They hunger for power while the masses starve. In the absence of a common cause, it seems beyond any one individual to make Ul'dah whole.
And the presence of a Garlean agent within the Immortal Flames only makes matters worse. Even accounting for Ul'dah's historic reliance upon mercenaries, such a grievous breach of security is unprecedented. I fear this business will provide the monetarists with a rod to beat Rauban.
Eorzea can ill afford for the Immortal Flames to be dampened now. Ere long, the Garleans will turn their ravenous gaze toward our lands once more. If we are to resist their might, our nations must stand together. Yet for this to happen, our nations must be whole. Cannot be done to improve the situation in Ul'dah.
The true wealth of Ul'dah lies in the health, happiness, and hopes of her citizens. Alas, the citizens shall never know these things, so long as their lives are ruled by the ambitions of the few. The monetarists claim to represent the best interests of the people, but in sooth they desire only to manipulate them for their own selfish ends. For the government to serve the people, it must be formed of the people. For Ul'dah to move forward, it is not only the Syndicate that must be dissolved.
Nay, you jest.
My friends, it was for no other reason than to make known to you mine intent that I requested your presence here. When I make my declaration to the people, chaos shall inevitably ensue. As the last monarch in the line of Ul, I make unto you this request. Help Rauban to preserve order and protect the people. Forsake them, and you forsake yourselves. For a strong Eorzea will ever have need of a strong Ul'dah.
Your Grace, are you certain of this?
There is no other way. When the time is ripe, the nation shall become a true republic. Both royalists and monetarists shall cease to be. Uldar will no longer belong to kings or queens or merchant princes, but to her people. Roban, forgive me for casting aside all that you have toiled for in my name. Beyond this gesture, I am powerless to help my subjects.